Good evening. We'd like to open the Planning Board meeting of Wednesday, February 28th at 7 p.m. Present tonight, we have Guy Horn, Vice Chairman. We have Pam Humphrey, Clerk to the Board. Daniel Edmiston, Member. Kevin Sullivan, Member. Mark Marziotti, Chairman. We also have our Town Planner, Don Johnson. So we will get right into our agenda. Agenda item A, we have been told is not available this evening, so we will pass over that and move to item B.
It says it'll be on the 14th of March, by the way.
It'll be, okay, we'll just add it to the agenda for the 14th. Okay. Okay, item B is approval of the meeting minutes for February 14th and entertaining a motion for someone or a few who have read.
Mr. Chairman, I read the minutes from the last meeting of February 14th, 2018, and I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of February 14th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? So we'll sign those. As we're signing those, we'll move on to item C, which is the annual report for fiscal year 2017. Don, you want to lead us through that?
I sent you a second or third drafts of it, and also passed it out the meeting last week, so for those of you who have a hard copy as well, and had it for a while. Any comments? If you want to add, subtract?
I read it over. I thought it was good.
Yeah, obviously I did some edits.
So what changes have been being made?
I gave you an earlier edit about a month ago,
Yeah.
and this is the edit. Half the paragraph is being moved, a couple of phrases here and there that weren't quite correct. The one about
Okay.
the village chamber, the one about the Chamber of Commerce was actually a different group from the Chamber of Commerce. A few other things like that. Updated the wording to reflect that we've done a lot of the economic development planning, even though it was in this current fiscal year, not last fiscal year, but nevertheless, at least we had started last fiscal year, so I worded it to reflect that. That's about it.
Okay.
Oh, I also updated the table on what number of A&R plans received and the number of actual new lots for building created.
Okay. Do you have a final copy? Do you want us to vote on it or sign it or?
You can sign the third page. That won't change if you agree with it. I'll make the edits on the first and second page and we'll turn it in.
Okay, it looks like the only person who has to sign is you, Mark.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
So I can sign that tonight if you want, Tom?
Sure.
If the board's all in agreement? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And we have meeting minutes to sign too, right? Are those coming down? Or are they in here? Just want to make sure we don't forget to do that.
I have a copy here. If you want to sign this.
All right, we'll sign those. Just need one, Don?
Well, we could use two.
All right.
'Cause we can give one to the town clerk. and
One else
for
have
our
another
office.
one?
Start one.
Okay. All right, item C, discussion on finishing construction of and acceptance of uncompleted, unaccepted subdivision streets. Any update on that, Don?
Don't have any more, but Tony Sakara said that he wants to come at the 14th to talk to the board about starting to do the final coat of pavement and raising the catch basins and that sort of task. So that's moving along.
Okay.
I haven't heard from anybody else.
All right, who's on your list? I mean, are we all set with, is it Haney, who's down in Eisenhower?
He didn't get back to me since he was at the board meeting.
Okay. So you have a plan to continue to pursue them? Or,
Yeah.
I know you've done a great job this far, just, catching up with them, but I'd like to make sure we maintain that persistence.
Yeah, I wonder, last he said he was gonna look at trees and get quotes for the work to be finished,
Yeah,
but I haven't heard from him since.
okay. Well, let's reach out to him, and
Yeah.
how about George Slingo?
George did stop in for a minute or so the other day, and he said that as soon as the weather breaks, he's gonna get back to it.
What's left to be done down there?
Mostly setting the bounds and doing the as-bills. There's a fence to be repaired, there's a section of guardrail fence to be repaired, there's a few other little things like that.
It's
Okay.
pretty minor.
And obviously, there's gonna be some waivers involved.
Yeah.
No more paving down there? That's all done at Tobin Pond?
Street paving is actually done.
Yeah, I think the only thing that didn't get done was that they didn't finish the completion of the outer loop sidewalk.
They didn't do the sidewalk,
It's
that's
like
right.
halfway done. But I don't think that'll ever happen, so.
Okay.
That's probably one of the waivers they're gonna look for.
Why do you think it wouldn't get done?
Because there's no more money to do it.
Simple.
The main reason not to do it.
We still have some money, but not enough to do
It's been really,
anything.
really intense work, no. Over $13,000,
Is what's there now. All right. Anything else?
Piasta Road, I don't know if that's it's really being pushed.
I failed to do that. I think I told you at one of the meetings I would talk with Dickie Andrelevich. I'll
Yeah.
write myself a note.
I think the drainage system needs to be cleaned out too, if you see him, if you
Okay,
talk to him, you can mention that.
I'll let him know.
It's pretty full.
Yeah, because I mean, I think as far as I know, all the lots on that street are sold, so I don't know if there'll be
Okay.
any more building they have done or not.
There was about 4 or 6 lots at the end of the cul-de-sac, the very end of the cul-de-sac, just above that detention basin at the end.
Yeah.
It hadn't been released formally, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, but I think they're sold to one of the abutters already,
Okay,
so,
all right,
and I think that's the way he wants to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Okay.
I haven't heard any more about Rocky Hill. I haven't heard any more about those are the ones that we're really out there that we've been talking about.
And I think the Misty Meadows, that gentleman's filed bankruptcy, and I think we should put I think the town should take the leftover money that's in the account. It's not much. I think it's $5,000 or $6,000.
It's more than that.
Is
It's a little over 10, I think.
Okay, well, I think we should let the Board of Selectmen know, because they are the highway commissioners, that the developer basically went bankrupt, and the money that's left is probably not enough to repave that road or fix any of the problems, but,
We're gonna have to do some patches.
yeah, so, yeah, maybe take the money, patch it up, and call it a day.
Well, yeah, that situation's not gonna change, but neither is many of these others that we're talking about. So I'm hoping, I guess, and that's what I'm kind of looking for, is that, we're gonna get to a resolution at some point and say, okay, well, this is all that can be done at Tobin Farms, so then we put a report together, either by subdivision or just lump them all together and say, and present it to the selectmen. I think that's our obligation. Just to say, hey, here it is, this is the money, and let them decide, do they want to take it out, put it in a pool, and, get some bids out to try to get the stuff done. We owe that to the townspeople, right, to make sure that their subdivisions get completed as they were promised. So I hope certainly by middle of this year, we can at least check off some of these, get them off of your plate, so to speak, and, get we're really close on 2 or 3 or 4 of them that we've already talked about. so.
I mean, I think we could probably do those four, Tobin Farms, Piasta Road, Misty Meadows, and Eisenhower. I think that should be the goal.
Yeah.
Because when does the town like to accept the roadways, in the spring?
The conveyance plan, whatever it may be, you can also do it with the as-built plan, the plan that the selectmen signed to actually lay out the roadway. That has to be in by January 31st.
Yeah, so these guys none of these guys are gonna make that, but the goal should be to have it before the end of this year, so we can do it for the fall, for next spring.
Right. Right.
So, I mean,
All right.
it's a
We
pretty,
all on the same page on that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right, good. But
There's-
like I
there's
said,
one-
I think you've done a good job, Don, and, in corralling these, they've been just laying out there for a long time.
There's another one too, off, Dudley Sturbridge Road, Old Dudley Sturbridge Road, I think it is. The over 55 project.
oh, but yeah, we've already, that's not,
We held an escrow of some kind on that.
okay, well,
I
with them,
think it's been actually approved with.
that was
as a
John's,
CO.
that's John's Way.
John's, yeah.
Okay, so the way that was presented to the town was that there's a deed restriction on that property, that road will always remain private, it will
Right.
never become a public way.
Right.
Because it's part of that 55 and older
I
subdivision.
think we may be seeing a similar request coming in shortly, so we'll probably do it about the same way we did that one, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so I think if there's money left in that account for that way, it should just go back. If everything's done that it needs to be done, then it should go back to the,
Well, I don't know what the final engineering, but it does have a CO, so
yeah,
it's private.
it either needs to go back to the developer, or it would go back to the homeowners association, I would imagine, because they're responsible for the road.
We'll check into that. I think we'll see whoever made out the account probably goes back to the original.
Yeah, it's in, and I'm positive that deed got recorded, because that was part of the deal.
Right, they did. Okay, we'll check into that one and see who it goes to, and we'll release that money. Okay,
But that one shouldn't require any action by the Board of Selectmen.
no.
No, it's these ones that we have a deficiency of funds to complete the project, and it's not gonna improve, it's not gonna change, it's not gonna get any better, you're just gonna continue to spin your wheels, so
Yeah,
might as well just identify what money is left there, and we can't really determine whether they can take that money or not, but, they can, and so just let them decide to do that and manage it however they want, but that's our responsibility for sure.
I guess
Like,
George,
get that
I'm
stuff
sorry.
out.
I guess George Slingo was the only person left in Tobin Farm, but
Right. And
Not
legally,
sure
he
who it
doesn't
goes
have
to,
any
but-
obligation because his partnership is dissolved.
Right.
So, give him credit for doing what he's doing, but at any given time, he can just say, I'm out. So we might as well just, because I think he's still plowing the snow there, right?
right.
It's very risky.
So the other issue is too, the longer we wait to close them out, the more expensive everything that has to be done becomes.
Right.
So it's not like the money's probably making 1% if we're lucky in the account, and, the cost of everything that needs to be finished or repaired is going up every year.
Mhm.
He was looking to set the as-built, the bounds himself, and have a survey to the as-built plans.
Right.
And, and I think he's doing that out of the respect to the town, so I think
Think so.
that
I
the
think so,
selectmen
yeah.
will continue to allow him to do that, but
I think so.
I think it's out of, really should be, off our plate here and on to the selectmen's, like I said, because I don't think, if we want to let, George do that and then get it over to them, fine, but I think it has to happen sooner rather than later. All right, good. I think we're all in agreement on that. So you can just continue to update us as you do, Don, on this. That'd be great. Just let us know how close we are, which ones we're looking to transfer over. That would be a good update.
Yep. Okay.
All right, great. Before we move on, sir, are you here for a particular purpose, or are you just observing?
Just a bit of
Wants to address the board about that plan we were looking at a little bit earlier.
He's a gentleman for the subdivision.
Oh, okay. So, you know, we can have you come up if you want. We're just about finished anyway, but I hate to have you wait. If you want to come up and sign in?
This is kind of unique because the zoning hasn't changed since looking at this plan that was approved in 1974 but never recorded at the registry. Zoning didn't change since then. It's kind of unusual, but
You have the
subdivision control law changed though.
prints there?
Yep, we
Yeah.
have two plans before us, so this is a, looks like a 5-lot subdivision cul-de-sac off of JB Lane.
Right.
So what the town planner is telling us, that you presented this, obviously you presented this in 1974, it's all signed off by the planning board and the town clerk.
The covenant was recorded, but the definitive plan, the sheet itself, the Mylar, was never recorded.
Okay, so that's unfortunately gonna be a little bit of an issue if you never recorded the plan itself. So what you got originally, what you had approved was approved by the town and the planning board at the time, but because the plan wasn't put at the registry of deeds, just the covenant was put there. So I'm not saying it disqualifies the plan, but there's no way of knowing exactly what was approved. I mean, we got this plan here signed, but it's not official unless it goes to the registry of deeds. So you have a plan that was signed, but no registration.
Yeah, and that was because actually the plan was done for my dad.
Okay?
And he had other property, he was a home builder. He had other property that he was able to improve that had the street in front of it. And this plan never came into effect because he passed away.
Okay. Because, I mean, if he had filed this plan at the registry of deeds, it would still, I mean, it could still be in effect today. You know, it would be like you were grandfathered. Filing just the covenant doesn't get you everything you need. But I'm saying what you have here is, you know, it's still laid out. After this was approved, do you know, are you paying taxes on each individual lot right now, or?
No, just on the plot.
So you're still paying taxes as a single piece of land?
Yes,
Okay, so it was never truly subdivided then?
right.
Okay, well, that's good for you, because you weren't paying all that high taxes all those years.
There are 3 of us that are involved with this, and we would like to put this to rest.
Okay,
And we're trying to establish a value for the property. And,
So you're not looking to build
no,
the subdivision?
no, I'm personally not looking to do that.
You want to sell the property?
Right.
okay, so you want to know, so then you basically want to know where you are.
Yes.
Okay,
And
So-
what I could do to enhance, to try to revert back to the old plan, because that's, it was a very workable plan, and we, would like to, what you call, liquidate it.
Yeah.
But being worth what it could be worth.
okay, so, I mean, you'd have to, my opinion, you'd have to you'd have to have it re-engineered today. I mean, you could use the same meets and bounds that were originally laid out, which would make it easier for the engineer. He wouldn't have to go back out and like resurvey everything. He could, if this was accurate and it was stamped by an engineer and a surveyor, so I think it's, I would say it is accurate. You could relay this, they would have to, you could use this layout, but you would have to change a few things to make it conform to today's rules and regulations versus what was approved in 1974.
I think it's two things in particular. One is the 40-foot right-of-way, which I don't think is a big issue because you can fit
Right.
sidewalk and a roadway, standard roadway within 40 feet.
So it's just asking for
Shift
a
a little
waiver.
bit over if necessary.
Yeah, so the roadway originally was laid out at 40 feet. That used to be the normal roadway layout. Now it's
And-
50.
JB Ave is a 40-foot road
Right.
as well.
So whoever would bring the new plan in would ask for a waiver for that, to be waived down to 40 feet from 50 feet, and we've done that in the past, so it's not really a problem.
Okay.
Because we only require by our rules and regulations for subdivision, we only require a 24-foot wide roadway be installed.
Okay.
So as long as you got room for the 24-foot roadway width and the sidewalk on either side, which 40 feet will accept that, no problem.
Okay.
That's what I was
And then
just check on.
I think you need an engineer to make to look at it and just say what's going to be installed for drainage, because we're not seeing any, we're seeing,
Yeah, at the time, my dad had brought this up to light because Saba and Gunther had purchased the property abutting it.
Right.
And he wanted to try to incorporate any drain work if they were, if there was drain work to adjoin to. And that's one of the reasons that he did it way back at that time. It was the time to look towards, having an outlet for surface drains if it was necessary.
right, so
If
I don't,
they do that anymore, though, you'd have to do it such a way that you detained it before you let it off-site, or else you'd have to put in a retention pond that actually holds it and drains into the ground.
yeah, I don't know what the, I don't know what the rules were in 1974, but basically the rules today are whenever you develop a piece of land, you have to make sure that whatever you develop on the piece of land or the new parcel that you're asking to be developed, that no runoff will come off of that property and onto the abutting neighbor's property. So you have to control all your stormwater, mediate it on-site.
Right.
And that's a new requirement. It probably wasn't in play in 1974.
No, it was not. At that time, it was deemed that there were no surface drains necessary at all.
Right. So
So
it was
that-
probably just sheet flow wherever it went. But today, like, you can't build a new house and have your house on a higher piece of land, or build up your land and build a house on top of it and have the runoff go to your neighbor's yard, because it's not allowed anymore. So you have to maintain all your surface water on site, so that's what you're obligated to do when you say that you're gonna lay out a new lot or get a new lot approved.
So I should approach an engineer and say that's the biggest to just rehash the plot, the subdivision itself, but just make up some type of surface drain?
Yeah, I think if you're looking for this, if you wanna, if your ultimate goal is to sell this, I think what you wanna do is you wanna get at least what we would call a preliminary plan, a preliminary subdivision plan.
Okay,
I mean, this is an okay plan, but it was done in 1974, so you'd want a preliminary subdivision plan that was up to today's standards. And the only thing, like I said, that Don sees and I see that you'd have the issue with is the 40-foot right-of-way, but whoever would bring this back to us as a proposed subdivision, they would just ask for a waiver for that right-of-way from 50 feet to 40 feet, because our new rules are 50 feet wide. But because this was already laid out in 1974 and it was approved.
and it, JBAB has town water, town sewer in it.
Right.
So it was also measured out to have the lots or the houses drained municipal.
Well, today they won't let you put anything other than the usage of the house water, the drains in the house. The gray water and the sewer drain can go into there, but like your your downspouts and your
Oh,
yard
right,
drains, you can't
right.
put them into the sewer, because that water all goes to Webster and gets processed. It costs us money to process it.
Right.
So,
Goes back into the ground generally,
yeah.
to a
Usually you-
recharge system of some kind.
Yeah,
That's what most
recharge
houses
or
do now.
infiltration systems, you can put it back into the ground. The only other thing I would say is, you would also want to get in touch with the water and sewer department to make sure that they still have capacity for these 5 lots
Okay,
in the system, and if they
Okay.
do, that makes your package to any prospective buyer a lot more valuable if you have water and sewer, because if you don't have water and sewer available, or if you have one but not the other, your lot sizes would have to change here. You
Mhm.
wouldn't probably have enough land to do 5 lots. You might have to go to 3 lots or 4 lots,
mhm,
because if you have one but not the other, I think the minimum lot size is 30,000 square feet, or is it 40,000 square feet?
Generally, depends on the number of bedrooms,
Okay.
generally 40.
Yeah, if you have to put a well and a septic system on the same lot, you
Mhm.
need like 40,000 square feet of land
okay,
to do that. So, but if the water and sewer department says they still have capacity and they could take these 5 lots on as you have it depicted here, if they say that's possible, then like I said, that makes your plan a lot more viable to a builder,
mhm,
if they got water and sewer. So you could ask them if they would be willing to issue you the permits. If you have the permits in hand, that makes it a lot more viable for the builders too.
okay,
So I would talk to them first, and if they say yes, that you can do that and you can get your permits, then you could go to an engineer such as Burton Engineering in Southbridge, or
Okay.
any civil engineering company or surveyor.
mhm,
Still in.
He's out of business.
Retired just recently,
Yeah.
just retired.
Yeah, so the gentleman who originally did this, I think it was his father probably.
Yes.
He's retired now too,
Yes.
so.
Wow.
But you could go to any civil engineer,
mhm.
and they would know, they could get our rules and regulations right off of our, they're on our
It's
website,
on the
right?
website now, yeah.
Yeah, they're on the website, so they could get the rules and regulations, and they have this as a guide to go by. So if the water and sewer tell you that it's okay to have the water and sewer permits, you wouldn't have to change any of the layout lines. The lot sizes could stay the same.
Mhm.
Then you would just have to get an up-to-date preliminary plan, and then you'd have to submit it to the planning board. Once we approve that, now you've got a subdivision that's pretty much good to go.
Okay,
It's not the final engineering down to the minute detail. That'll be the definitive plan, the one that actually goes to record. But the preliminary subdivision will give you at least the opportunity to market it.
And those are only recommendations too, you know, you don't have to do that, it's all up to you, how you want to market this property.
mhm,
Property, you know, you can show them this and show them that it was, you know, approved in 74. Any builder knows that, you know, it obviously needs to be redone, and,
mhm,
because you're gonna incur some expenses by, you know, hiring an engineer to do
Mhm.
all this sort of stuff, and it'll take you some time to go and get your permits and things like that. But Guy is right that, you know, obviously, if you can market it properly, you may be able to get some additional money for the property. So it's really all up to you on what you want to do. We're just here to give you some, you know, just some ideas on what needs to happen to this plan for it actually to be buildable and whatnot.
and that's what I'm here for, is to
Okay.
find out from you what.
Another thing, too, how many people are involved in the ownership here?
There's 3.
You should all sign the application. I had a circumstance one time where there was 2 brothers involved in some ownership of land. One signed the application and filed it and didn't tell the other brother. You know, you never know if this thing's gonna happen to you, but
Mm.
just make sure you have your siblings sign it.
We'll manage it. One of the people is in Pennsylvania, so we'll just
Okay, well,
have to mail the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk to an attorney, but I'm sure if the 3 people in agreement, the attorney could work up a document that
Yeah.
states that maybe
You can-
one person could be in charge of it for the other 2, but they need to sign
Yeah,
a
that's all right.
document stating that one person has the authority,
Right.
so you don't get stuck at the end.
Okay,
Don't do it like that one did.
well, that's what I was interested in, was to speak with you and find out what I have to do.
Yeah, but start with the water and sewer department, because if
Yes.
they give you the okay, you're in a much better position.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you.
So that right there. You want these plans?
I guess so. As a matter of fact, because if it's useless anyway.
Good reference.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right, moving on to item E, discussion on the status of economic development planning, including the integration of 2015 Village District Study and scheduling of Village District Walk and Phase 2 Economic Development Strategic Plan, Content and Work Plan.
Okay, well, we've submitted you've seen the application, right? Put that in the email. As far as the 2015 study, I'm gonna see if I can hear more from Dominique on that one. I think she was involved. But Chris Ryan is no longer working for CMRPC, so
Oh, wow.
he was mostly involved in that one, more than anybody else, I think, so.
Okay.
As of last week, I got a notice that he's not, he's,
He was the one who
Working on
presented
it.
he came here and presented to us once, right?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
I think that
PowerPoint.
the PowerPoint that I gave you a copy of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a meeting with him tomorrow night to, make the formal request, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Wonderful.
This time tomorrow night, I'll be in Worcester at the meeting of their, whatever committee it was.
Is that their monthly meeting?
It's not the monthly meeting, it's,
Okay.
construction committee or some, I don't know, whatever it is.
Okay.
All right, good.
And that village walk, we nailed down a good weekend. I'll be free yet.
We can, but, are
Are
we,
holding off on that until later?
yeah, I think we
in the
were talking
process?
about letting everything,
Sometime in April or something like that.
dry out a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you wanna wear your boots, Kevin, but,
Hey, the weather's getting nice, what can I say?
yeah, I think if we,
Spring fever.
I think definitely, in the spring, we should plan that.
Yeah.
And I know that someone from CMRPC was planning to walk it with us, so it probably wouldn't be a bad
I
idea to
think it was
have someone.
Dominique who's gonna do that, so
Yeah,
let's see
okay.
if I can get in touch with her and see how she wants to handle that part of it.
All right. That would be great. All right, good. Any other discussion about that item?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Hopefully we get funding we need and the assistance we need and do phase 2 and then go into phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that came out of phase 1, when we did the research, you know, we particularly how much agricultural land we really do have. 21% is 61A alone. It doesn't include all the land that could be used for agriculture. It's a lot more, probably twice as much as that could be used for agriculture, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know John Breyer would probably be pretty interested in participating in that as well.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. From the economic side. Ian as an alternate, so that, yeah, so we'll just make sure he's posted on that, whatever we plan. All right, sounds good. Moving on, planner's plate. Anything, Don, that you haven't covered you wanna?
Well, I updated the zoning bylaw today
Mm-hmm.
with the last town meeting amendments. If you just finished it today, it's on the website. If anybody wants a hard copy, they'll have to give it to you, but I don't want to, you know, waste too many trees.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
going to look at it. So if you want a hard copy, just let me know. You're welcome to it.
At the last meeting, you were talking about maybe changing a few more bylaws that were going to be requested by the,
Well, I talked to the building inspector, and he's pretty good with what we have right now at this
Okay.
point in time. We haven't had anything else come up.
so no dire need.
No.
Okay.
As far as the marijuana situation, I think that we'll work on that over the summer.
Yep.
The CCC Cannabis Control Commission has just finished their hearings. I don't think that I think they have until middle of March, March 15th maybe, to update their regulations to the final draft.
And
Start accepting applications.
Yep.
But at this point, most of the applications they'd be accepting are from already established medical facilities.
the moratorium that we put in play, that was good until the end of this year?
November 15th, I believe it was. It was just after the
Town meeting?
didn't have the town meeting, it's the actual election,
Okay.
midterm election, so that we can, get on the ballot. Need be.
Yeah, so we probably need to have some kind of proposal for the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need a proposal for fall town meeting.
Fall town meeting, right.
Yeah. So we'll work on it over the summer, I'd say.
A lot's gonna change, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Doesn't seem to matter what,
Seems to be changing all the time.
yeah. The federal's got full control of that, I think. But anyway. Okay.
Next Wednesday, I'm going to a workshop about wayfinding and branding for downtowns particularly, but I think it's going to be an interesting workshop to go to because we don't really have a defined downtown. We sort of share it with Webster in a way. We don't have a defined downtown for Dudley though, so maybe I can get some feedback on that about how you handle these situations where there is no defined downtown.
Mm. Yeah, wasn't the Economic Development Committee talking about identifying a particular area or a couple of them?
Yeah. That area just over the town line.
Yeah, the Schofield Ave.
Schofield Ave, yeah, that too, but I mean, the West Main Street is over the town line as well.
Yeah.
And the area adjacent to Nichols. And the airport road in between there.
Mm-hmm.
It may be more of a matter of getting the Nichols students down to the airport road though, so we'll see how that goes. But that's part of phase 2 to look at that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. Anything else, Don?
That's all I have.
Okay. I did have something that I was gonna ask about that, but that slipped my mind. Okay, any comments from the planning board?
None here?
Do you have any updates on Stevens Mill? Anything, have you heard
I don't.
anything?
It's the newspaper.
I called and I don't know if they're as involved as they were. They're still interested, but remains to be seen what's gonna happen.
You mean whether Wynn's still
They're
interested?
still interested,
Yeah.
but they're not as, they don't have I guess they don't have all the financing they would have had.
So it's not definite for 2019 at all?
No.
Yeah, okay.
So that's
Not right
plan
now.
number what for the mill?
112?
We need one of those.
Cut.
Take 5. Take 5, take 50.
No, I still
This
think,
one looked very promising, you know,
Mhm.
but it's amazing how things change.
It's that snowstorm.
Yeah.
Snowstorm and the cold snap.
Shut the whole thing down.
A lot of things happened in that cold snap. Number of car washes had problems.
Notice how many fires there were? in
Yeah.
That cold snap.
House fires.
I think it must have been people using electric heaters,
Yeah.
in my theory,
Yeah,
overloading their circuits.
yeah, for sure. That's when it happens. Okay. We don't have any audience, so, if there's no other comment, I guess we're entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Good night. Thanks, Freddie.